Okay, it's been a while since I've done this, so hopefully it's all going well. Well, doing the whole live stream thing. All right. So, uh, as you can tell, this is what I'm working on tonight. I've got probably about 75% of it done. I'm hoping with some luck, I'll be able to knock out close to 90% of it tonight and finish it off tomorrow morning. We'll see how it goes, though. Hope you all are doing well out there. And yeah, so let's get right to it. And of course, if you've got any questions or comments, throw them in the chat. This is from Osaka Comic Con, commission from fine young man who wanted a Mandalorian with Grogu on his shoulder. So that's what I'm doing. And let me just get myself situated here. All right. Okay, so yeah, so I'm working in gouache again, probably my favorite medium at the moment. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just going to work on his just these areas where I haven't really gotten anything. I've just done I did a pencil, ink, then I did a, oh, got you there. Whatchamacallit, did a pencil, then I did, went over that, traced that with ink. Then I went in with a red, a red acrylic ink wash. And now I'm going over that with, yeah, my gouache colors here. So now I'm just putting in these ripples in the fabric, which can be a bit of a challenge. Kind of like put down like a flat color, then I get the paint off my brush, and then I go back in with get the paint off my brush, and then hit the edges to kind of make them smooth. Oh yes, roll red first, and then I was going on top of that. Yeah, bold. I wanted to do something that was. I've been doing a lot of brown ones as of late, and I was like, you know what? I want to try something different. And it just felt like, ooh, this can make it, because Baby Grogu, Baby Yoda Grogu is going to be green, so I wanted something to kind of, pop off. It's green, so I figured a red background. I'll try it out, see how it goes. If I don't like it, I can always cover it up afterwards, but I think I'm going to leave it as it is. But again, we'll see what happens. Here we go. Yeah. So the red, yeah, basically I just chose it because the green and red are complementary colors, and I've been wanting to try like a red underpainting to see how these grays go on top of it. Because I just got done, whenever I do any Star Wars, all I get is, whoa, but never any commissions or no one ever purchased. What do I do have? They've only sold 2 Star Wars items and that's it. Hey, better 2 than none. That's what I always say. Better 2 than none. Um, you don't know how long it took me to get my first Star Wars commissions. I'm trying to think of the first one I had. I think it was at Tokyo Comic Con. It was a Darth Vader helmet one. And it's good to get oohs and ahs rather than ughs. So yeah, look at the positive points. Always look at the positive points. And then work from there. Like I said before, better two than none. Where was I? You know what? I think I'm just going to go all in this. Just go. What I sometimes make the mistake of doing is just trying to go into details first. What I need to do, even though I've done all these line work, I'm going to go over them anyways and block them out and then look from the. I mean, it's not really necessary for me to do all that line work, but sometimes the line work bleeds through the paint. It gives like a cool effect. So that's kind of what I leave it there for. Because when the paint dries, it's not going to be completely opaque. There we go. Okay, so what I'll just do is I'll take the color that I put on here, just add a little bit of white to it, and I'll use this to make my folds. And then if you got like this fold coming over it, just put a little bit of a shadow there. That'll work. Well, if I could write it in chat, I would. But, I think you can guess kind of what I'm saying. Just always be positive. So let's go down here. We'll just pop this up here. That's what we'll do. There we go. That's better. And that'll go right there. There we go. Again, welcome to everybody who's stopping by. Um, if you're Japanese, feel free to speak in Japanese in the chat. I can read and speak Japanese and English as well. Sometimes I feel like my English is getting worse than my Japanese. Now, I usually don't spend this much time on a commission. Well, actually, it just depends. I find that whenever I do the commissions post-con or pre-con, I spend more time on them. And if you get me to do a commission during the con, I'm not going to be able to spend much time on them, as much time. I kind of cheat, I guess you would say, on the ones that I do pre and post-con. So that's why I highly recommend that people get one for pre-commission before the show. That way you know I'm going to spend more time on it. I mean, I could set a timer, but I don't like doing that. All right, I need to get back over here to these folds. So I'm going to put the shadow underneath here. What I try to do is I make a color. I'll mix a color over here, and then I'll just add whites and blacks to it to mess with the values. Yeah, that's better. And I don't like to go pure black with gouache. It has almost too opaque of a feeling to it. It really dulls out the painting. So with my I don't like to do, like, pure blacks, so what I'll just do is I'll mix in, like, a little bit of white or a little bit of red or a little bit of yellow, like, alright, have a good time. Thank you. I like to add a little bit of something to the grays or the no, so the blacks, that's what I was talking about, to, make the colors less dull. And the only problem with doing, like, a red underpainting like this, it looks nice. It gives it, like, a lot of power, but, um, you're gonna see them it's going to bleed through in spots here. But, that's a part of the paint I kinda like. Hmm, there we go. Okay, the arm's getting done well over there. Let's add a little bit more white to this. And I like to think that, so the folds, the light's hitting not at the sides, more so just, like, here in the middle. So you see where the light's hitting right here? So I like to have it over just not center, but a little bit to the left. And, you might see a lot of people doing, like, really, really extremely detailed. I like to think that my pictures could be seen from 10 feet away or something like that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet away. So being ultra detailed really doesn't serve any purpose at all. So I just imply detail. Hmm, there we go. And I'll take liberties with things like if I want this to shine a little bit more, I'll add just in a little bit more white, taking liberties from the reference photo that I'm using. In case you're wondering, I'm doing this on illustration board. It's got a bit of a just a little bit of a tooth to it. And I ordered some more yesterday. I thought that I had chosen the one that had tooth on it, but when it arrived, it said it was Kent board. Now, I never ordered it before because Kent board, for the most part, doesn't have any tooth to it. But when I looked at it, it had like a very slight one. So I'm going to see what it's like or try it out, hoping for the best. Hmm. Okay, let's go back at it. Just emailing somebody real quick. So like I was saying with my grays before, just trying to add some, I'll put some yellow ochre. I like to try to balance it with like some warm grays and cool grays, red grays, blue grays. So just to give the painting a little bit more liveliness to it. All right, I need to keep on working on the arm over here. Let's, well, see, the thing is, I don't really like to like just finish a place and then go to the next place. I enjoy working on one section and then kind of moving over and then coming back to it again, just going back and forth, back and forth. I know what I'm missing. I need to put on some music. I've been hooked on the latest Ghost album. I haven't stopped listening to it for like, I listened to it the whole time I was in Osaka for like 2 weeks. And I've been listening to it since I came back. Just can't get enough of it. So even with this, I don't like to use a pure white either. I like to add like a little bit of blue or something to it. I try to stay away from using just pure whites and pure blacks. The US today, hey, I met you at the con and I've been looking at your artwork since. I really like your style and I want to learn how to draw and paint like that. Hey, which con was it? Was it WonderCon or was it Osaka Comic Con? And thank you for stopping by. Yeah, so if you want to learn to paint like this, because I was struggling with color for the longest time, and I've told many people this, check out James Gurney. James Gurney. He did Dinotopia. He has a YouTube channel. He does lots and lots and lots of tutorials on how to paint using gouache. I mean, he also does oil and everything else, but his YouTube channel is mainly focused on his gouache work, and that's what I like to work in, is gouache. And it's just for me, the one thing that really helped me out is um, uh, what I did was color studies. Just did a bunch of color studies, and that helped me familiarize with myself with you know the variety of colors that I could get from certain combinations. Um, but yeah, check out James Gurney. Can't recommend him enough. And thanks again for stopping by. Yeah, for me, I just kind of what I do is I only use three colors in black and white. I always have the problem of uh, losing some kind of consistency, consistent feeling within my picture. So for the longest time now, and I'm sure I might change this somewhere down the line. What I do is I could just show you my palette right now. It's just white, yellow ochre, flame red, turquoise blue, and black. So here I use these three colors plus white and black. And what I do is I make a bunch of color wheels using like this. And whenever I have like, I'm like, oh, I look at a picture. I'm like, what color scheme do I want to use? So for this one, I really liked how the flame red and the black were working together. And there was the flame red with the turquoise, which is on another page, I think. Yeah, I looked. That was like, oh, I like that combination. So I just went with that. Do I have it? Yeah, the flame red, turquoise blue, but I don't have one with the yellow ochre. I haven't made that one before. So I just kind of added that in there. Hmm. I'm going. It's about 10:30 at night here, so I'm going a little bit slower than I usually do because uh, I've had a long day of work. But I'm hoping to get a little bit more of this. I want to get at least things blocked in. Yeah, so I'd be interested to know if I met you at Osaka or if I met you at WonderCon in the States. So this down here has more of a cool gray to it. So I'll just come in here. What I'll do is I'll block out. Actually, I probably could add a little bit more. I'll add some more black to that. Fill that all in. Like I said before, I like to leave some of these. Oh, at the one in Osaka. Okay, cool. I'm not familiar with gouache because I've only used watercolor paints. Uh, okay, so the big difference between watercolor and gouache is basically just opaque watercolor. Therefore, it has little to no transparency. You, well, if you use it straight out of the bottle, out of the tube. Now you can get transparency through it by um, watering it down, but it has almost like a chalky look to it. Um, and yeah, watercolor doesn't give you much room for mistake. Whereas gouache, you can go back and you can layer, you can lift it up. It's almost like you're working in water-soluble acrylics. Blending, basically, I put down flat colors. I take the paint off my brush, and I just use a little bit of water if I want to, blend them. Have a dry brush to blend. Just a little bit of water on it. It just takes a lot of practice. And I've been using them consistently for the last couple of years now. Now, if you're using the watercolors are basically just transparent unless you really use them thick right out of the tube. Um, and watercolor can be less forgiving, a lot less forgiving. But a lot of people go to watercolor first because of one reason, and that's because it's easy to clean up. A lot more challenging. There we go. Well, it was good to meet you, Osaka. Um, yeah, I had a great time there. I just got back last Wednesday. I stayed there for an extra couple days. But I had to do 50 Star Wars sketch cards, and I just got finished with those yesterday. Sent those off in the mail, and I'm just like completely like after that. Today is what? Today's Tuesday. Yesterday, oh, I was just completely exhausted because as soon as I got back from Osaka, I had to start working on those. Had no time to do anything else. Just went right to the drawing board, and I told the people after I got finished with the cards, I'd start working on their commissions. So I probably got about a dozen to work on. And to be honest, I usually don't spend this much time on one commission, but like I said before, when it comes to pre and post con commissions, I'll spend more time on them. Just because that whenever I'm at the con working, I've got this inner clock going on that tells me when to stop or how much time I've spent working on something. And that, whenever I'm doing it at home or pre-con, I that clock just doesn't exist, and I end up painting a lot more than I would on a commission at the con, which again is why I recommend people getting a um, pre-show commission. All right, I'm going to throw on some music real quick. Yeah, again, if you got any more questions, feel free to ask. All right. Whenever you're painting with gouache, another thing, I use a lot of water with them, but you got to wait for them to, when they dry, they're going to get dark. And I've used this red underpainting, so the red's going to see through it a little bit. You just got to go back over it again, again, and again. What kind of artwork do you have commissioned, and what kind of limitations do you set for the kind of artwork you could do? Well, I've only been doing this for 4 years now, so I've been kind of finding my limitations of things as I go. I actually, I actually do black and white. Then for color, I just use watercolor, ink, squash, my water soluble ones. But I also offer oil painting, monotypes, and acrylic. On and from my next con, I'm not going to put those on my commission price list anymore, just because I don't get a whole bunch of them. But what I will do is offer them as an option um, if people ask about them, or have examples of them at my booth, and people can I can make that suggestion to them. Limitations is I don't I basically tell everybody I'll paint whatever you want me to, because I consider this my growing period. and every commission to me is like a step forward in becoming a better freelance illustrator. And so I try not to set limitations on myself because by setting limitations to myself, I won't give myself the opportunity to work on things that I might be required to work on in the future. So I just say yes to everything. Now, as far as backgrounds go, I don't really put in backgrounds for my commissions, but I'm going to offer that as an option from Tokyo Comic Con, this upcoming one. So, like an extra, you know, if you want a background, there would be like an extra. I don't know. I haven't really thought of the price for that yet, but that's something that I'm considering doing. That's the only limitation I've really set. Um, if people want it to look comic-y, I'll do it comic-y. If they want it to look like the real thing, I'll do that. Um, Again, every commission to me is work experience. Yeah, I hope that somewhat answers your question. But I find with each Comic Con, I'm learning things, I'm adjusting. Um, I check out what other people are doing. But the one thing that I always try to do is maintain a unique um, kind of atmosphere or setting to my booth. I want my booth to be just a bit different than everything else that you see around you. Just because that, an offering of a variation will uh, get people interested in what you're doing. I always find that, for me at least. If I see something that's kind of different than everything else, my eyes kind of get drawn to it. Right now, for the work that I have commissioned, it's just like a whole array of things. But with Star Wars Celebration having been recent here in Japan, held recently, I've got a ton more Star Wars commissions than I usually do. I was telling somebody during the con that um, to this point, I could count on one hand how many Star Wars commissions I had had. But this time around, probably close to a third of them were Star Wars related, which is good for me because I'm contracted with Topps Trading Cards, and I have a Star Wars uh, a contract with Star Wars, so that gives me more practice. Again, to me, it's all about practice. Hey, what's up, Shield Wall? Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. You're a busy man. Hope you're doing well. So for me, I'd never done The Mandalorian before, so if they said, I want The Mandalorian, I would say yes. Now, during the con, I was kind of listening to artists around me, and the one of the artists was just like, "Oh, no, I don't do that character," or "No, I don't do that style," or "No, I don't do this, I don't do that." And I can understand. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with it and that's not your cup of tea, then you don't have to do it, but I never say that. I always say, "Yep, I'll work with what, you want me to do," and for me, customer's number 1, and I try to make the customer happy. When I met you, you were almost also very sunny, so your booth was not only inviting artistically, but also. Oh, yeah, yeah, like, see, that's the thing. Whenever people walk by, I want people to, um it's funny that you call it sunny, uh, because I felt like my stuff was very dark compared to the people around me. Like, I had 3 very, very similar types of artists around me, and their artwork was very, very bright and colorful, a lot of, what you call local color, and mine was more like kind of like a darker feel to it. But no, what I always do is I always talk to people. If you walk by, I'll say hello. Um, I do my best to try to keep an eye on what's going on around me while I'm drawing. I, wa- I like that's what I'm there for. I'm there for making your time at the con more enjoyable. So I'll talk to you and have a chat. If you want to talk about art, I'll talk about art. Talk about stuff that I can have a conversation with you about. Yeah, that's what I'm there for, to speak to you guys. Because I try to make my place a little bit entertaining, so you'll have something to do while you're there. I want to make it like a little gallery too, like a little exhibition. Even when I'm really, really busy, I try to maintain a smile and a good attitude, and I try not to show how tired I am because I get really like, whew. I mean, you don't have time to get tired, but you get tired. But I try not to let it show. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that's the thing I really enjoy the most is just talking to people at the con. And it's weird because as soon as the con's over, like I'm not lying. The second day, my jaw popped. The muscle in my jaw popped because I was talking so much, and I couldn't eat. I couldn't chew because my jaw was in pain. But then, yeah, as soon as the con's finished, and you go back to like this quietness, and it could be a bit depressing because you spend like 3 or 4 days just constantly talking to people and you know networking and having chit chats, doing all this and that, and then all of a sudden you're back to being on your own in the grind. I like drawing darker stuff too, which is why I was. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it, man. Or woman. I don't know who you are exactly, but um, whatchamacallit. No, just try to. For me, it's what it's all about. But I'm glad that you felt that way because that's what I was trying to convey. I want my place. I want to feel welcome. I don't want to sit around with my arms crossed, like thinking, expecting people to come visit me. That's to me, that's a big no-no. It's my job to make you feel like you want to come over and visit me. And I genuinely do want to talk to people. That's why I always tell people, like, I apologize if I'm not looking at you while I'm talking and I'm just drawing, because I got my deadlines. But me talking to drawing, that's what I love to do. Like, I'll go to, I mean, I have my studio here, but during the week, I'll go out of my way to go to a cafe and paint and talk to people there as well. This is just, I, the energy. I love the energy. And it's kind of similar here with YouTube because I see the comments in the chat, and then it's like I'm almost at the con atmosphere without all the hustle and bustle. I'll give you a little close up of what I'm doing here. So it's not really extremely super tight, but whenever you look at it from far away, it has that feeling of, you know, really detailed. Which when you get up close, the strokes are very pretty, you know, what you call it, pretty rough. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a little intimidating. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was intimidated by that for maybe like I think the idea of it was intimidating, but then you get there and then you realize it's people are coming up to you and asking you to do work because they like what they see, and then the intimidation factor kind of goes. It, it was there for the first couple of cons, but now it's just like, okay, I've got my style, and so what I've got to do is I have to realize that the other people who have made it, quote unquote, made it, they've got their own style. They're doing their own thing, and people are coming to me to ask me to do work for them or buying my products because they like what I'm doing. So my whole idea is like improve on what I'm doing right now. And instead of being intimidated, learning from them is more important. So if I see somebody doing something, I'm going to, observe their techniques, maybe look at their compositions, the way they work with their characters, and yeah, maybe learn a thing or two while I'm there. So considering it instead of being, oh, appreciate it, man. Yeah, instead of being, because believe me, at first, even to this day, it is still surreal. And I won't tell you that I won't get that I don't get nervous because I do get nervous. But as soon as the con begins, it's like, okay, no more time to be nervous anymore. Time to get to work. I think it's almost like like an athlete or something before the game starts. They're really nervous. They might puke up in the locker room or something like that. But when it comes to game time, the switch turns on and all of that stuff that they have, worrying about all those, you know, making mistakes or losing or worrying about the other team or something, I don't know. That all kind of goes out the window, and then you just get into drawing mode. Yeah, but I mean, for the longest time, I used to get really like, maybe jealous or intimidated or think, oh, all is lost. There's no way I'm going to be able to do with. And then nowadays, you still get those thoughts that come through your head every once in a while, but I just tend to go, all right, let's go learn. Let's go have fun. And let's go make artwork better than you've ever done before. That's like kind of the mental state I try to put myself into whenever it's con time. But what was I doing down here? His knee pad. So to get the silver, I like to work with, um, and again, I don't even know if there's no like such thing as doing it right or wrong. It's just how you approach it. But like I like to go in like with a variation of grays. So I'll go like maybe a warm gray, a cool gray in the same section. Kind of gives this kind of liveliness to it. So for example, I've got like a warm gray right here, and I'll just add in some blue, maybe some black. There's a warm gray right here. But yeah, I it's funny. I had a young art like a young kid. He was one of the kids from people from the Lego booth, and he was going around just talking to all the artists. He was about 10 or 11 or something like that, and he was just really wanting to learn or get advice from the artists, but at the same time, he was being really, like, negative and very, um, unsure about himself, and, I've been in that position even when I was young and, like, in high school and junior high school and stuff. So, I told him something that I wish somebody had told me a long time ago, and I told him because he was like, "My friends are so much better than me at drawing and stuff," and I was like, "That has nothing to do with you whatsoever. The only person you should ever be competing with is the person that you look at in the mirror every day. The painting that you do today, was it better than the one you did yesterday? That's what you should be challenging yourself to do. Uh, are there weaknesses that you have? What can you do to work on those? Uh, don't compare yourself to other people because you are all different artists. And when you start comparing yourself to somebody else, you end up doing artwork that isn't from you, and you gotta let that go. Compete with yourself, try to be better than the person you were the day before, and have fun. Just have fun doing it. If you ever stop having fun doing it, step back away from the painting, step away from the drafting table, the easel, wherever you're at, and just tell yourself, let's have fun. Let's be adventurous. Let's try something that we haven't done before. Let's make mistakes. Mm, I really like. Again, I tell myself, I'm going to finish this part over here, and then I find, oh no, I'm working over here on his hand now. I like to finish the piece bit by bit, and then that way it gives the whole painting this feeling of kind of this consistency to it. And even though I see like this really white place in here, you get this desire just to throw down some white. But again, I like to mix it with just a little bit of something. It was my first con ever, and the atmosphere was so surreal. I was like, wow, I found my people, especially since my friends aren't really into art that much, so I don't get to geek out much. Oh, dude, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, um, I always, well, for the people who do cosplay, I say Comic Cons are like Halloween for geeks. And then for the people who aren't doing cosplay or stuff like that, I mean, it's still kind of Halloween for geeks, but it's, yeah, it's a time to geek out, man. Uh, I mean, I wish I had more time myself to walk around and check out what's going on, but I just kind of like buckle down behind in my booth and work, work, work. I do try to get out and mingle as much as possible, but for me, yeah, it's so cool seeing everybody's work. Again, I do my thing, but then I go around, look at other people's stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, a part of me before would have been like, "Ooh, I wanna draw like that. I wish I could do like that." Now it's just like, "Oh, that's awesome. Alright, let's get back to the booth." But then, there's so much cool stuff out there. I really wanted to see the vendors and everything as well, but they put us so far away from them. Can't get over to them anymore. I need to talk to them about that. But yeah, that's so cool to hear it was your first con. I'm glad recently I've been enjoying the expressive side of art more than I ever thought. Enjoying the process more. Yeah. Oh yeah, the process. Completely the process. You said it right there. The process. Journey before destination. Journey before destination. Yeah. For me, I just enjoy mixing the paints. And then like you're like, there's a color that you want to get, and you get it. You're like, yeah, awesome. Like for me, whenever I'm just sitting around places, I'll look at colors and I go, all right, what colors would you mix? How would you achieve that? What would you do? I just sit around thinking that sometimes, which is fun. And then like for this painting I'm working on, I'm like, man, I really got this flat feeling of this chest armor, and but yet down here I've got this feeling of some kind of folding fabric. You know, just little those little wins that you get. Again, thanks everybody for stopping by, and really appreciate all the comments in here and conversation. It makes it even that much funner. It's crazy. Like this, so many different kinds of grays in here. So this one's more around this color. I like to fill it in like with a solid color, then going in there some whites and blacks to make the highlights and the shadows. Now something I really want to do is work really big. I've had that urge lately to work really big and to, oh, greetings from Malaysia. Just dropping to hit the like. Thank you. Thank you from Malaysia. I wonder if you were at the con as well. I met a lot of people from all over the world at the last con, and I think that's because of the expo that was going on. I mean, usually at the cons we get like, people from, various countries around the world, but at this time, I think because of the expo, there was definitely more of a variety of people from all over the world, which is always cool to see. Malaysia. Yeah, I'm really like enjoying this section down here, just because there's a variety of textures and you can have some fun with it. But if you would have asked me to do this picture 4 or 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it like this. And now I just feel so much more, confident with the medium, which is great. There we go. Oh, I'm just in Malaysia. I think I subscribed when you were on a Canadian. Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I was only on that stream that one time, but thank you, Sashi. Thank you for subscribing and checking out the stream. You don't get to go to cons. Well, if you ever get a chance to, please do. They're fun. Um, I mean, I think people have an idea of what they are, and they come and they get to experience them, and they realize that they're so much different than what they thought they were. And it's funny too, if you sit around and walk around the con, you'll see celebrities there that aren't guests, but maybe they're in that area doing like a concert or a tour, or maybe they're filming for something, and they'll just drop in the cons, check them out because they enjoy them as well. I think that at Tokyo this year, Outcast, Andre 3000 Outcast was there, and I know from Osaka there were a few uh, celebrities in the crowd just walking around, and then there was the guy who played in the Shogun TV series, one of the priests, the head priest. Well, actually, the main, well, not the main priest, but the priest who had the most uh, airtime. He was at one of the booths there, just visiting with some friends, and I got a chance to talk to him. Seemed like a very nice, laid back guy. But again, I'm in Artist Alley. I'm just stuck there working, so I don't get to see half of what's going on. I've never seen the stage. Like, I've never seen any of the celebrities. Like, never got to do like a sign with them or pictures or anything like that. My nephew manages some anime cons in Malaysia, though. Oh, now I've had some people suggest that I do the anime cons, even though I don't work in anime. So I don't know. Maybe that's something I could try somewhere down the line. Whew. I was just working on his hand down here. So my goal is to kind of get everything blocked in. All right. Watch. Hmm. Thank you again for everybody who stopped by tonight and giving comments and likes and this and that. Appreciate it. All right. See you later, Sashi. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. I'll try to do more of these streams. You know what? I'm going to have to move this over. Done. Or I'll just make it bigger. Good thing about gouache too, it dries very quickly. How often do you do these streams? I'm still at school, so I won't be able to catch them. Okay. I've been very bad about these. I used to do them every week, but now I do a lot of sketch card work for tops, and I can't stream those, not until I get permission. So I end up, yeah, I do streams a lot less than I used to. But during the cons, when I'm doing commissions, I'll try to do them, uh, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. So I'll try better to do them more often. I really need to be doing them weekly. I'm going to move this over. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's better. When you say you're still in school, is it like university or? Nope, still a bit of a youngster. Ah, okay, okay. Well, I hope this stream so far has been a learning experience. Again, if you have any more questions about the process or anything, let me know. Again, whenever it comes to these brush strokes, I try to keep them very, not extremely tight, because there's no real reason to have it extremely tight and detailed. Let them be a little loose, a little live. Mistake of punctuation, sorry. It definitely has been. Oh, that's good. Good to hear. I mean, that's half the reason I do them, so people can ask questions and learn and, enjoy the art. James Gurney. Please check out James Gurney. And if you ever get the chance, buy the book Color and Light by James Gurney and just have a really good read through it. Whew, how are we doing on time here? 11:12. I might wrap it up here in about 20 minutes or so because It's about 11:30 at night here, almost. I wanna try to get a little bit of rest so I can wake up early and work on this again tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow I need to start, I really need to finish this, but I've gotta work on these Disney sketch cards. Oh, no problem. I think during breaks when I have more time, I'll follow you on longer streams. Yeah, that'd be cool. I should do that. Like, definitely. I know people who do like those. They ask people to draw along while they're painting, and I'd be more than happy to do that. I really like doing these little highlights on the side of the armor and stuff that really causes it to feel has more like three dimension to it, and it just feels cool because you can feel the texture. There we go. Whew. Alrighty. Okay. I'd really like to block this hand in. Hmm. Sorry if I'm being a little silent here. It's getting that time at night where the brain just kind of turns off. I was talking to somebody today on Twitter about that. Like, I love it whenever you're working on a piece and your brain just turns off and you let your body take over and you work on something for like an hour or two and then you stop and you're like, whoa, when did I do this? I don't remember painting this. Kind of get to that zone. It must be so cool or the person who ordered wish to not only see the work, but also feel it and get that added layer of enjoyment that you couldn't get from a regular print. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's why a lot of people order. commissions, and they want to, but some people want to, but they just don't have the budget, which is why I have a lot of prints and postcards up for sale. But, being able to get something that's personally made for them, I think they really appreciate that. And I wish I could pick my prices cheaper, but I find that my prices are cheaper compared to most people. But, you gotta, like, figure out, okay, if I do this many commissions for this time and I make this much money, like, is it really sustainable to do for this price? So you gotta kinda think about that when you're that's another thing that's a pain in the butt is trying to figure out prices for things. And I've pretty much got a system with mine, but, again, that's something that kind of evolves, and I'm sure over time, prices will raise up depending on the, um, demand, popularity, but I try to have something that's good for everybody's wallet at my booth. So if you want something around this price, I'll have it. If you want something that's a little bit more expensive, larger, I can do that for you as well. It's just a balance. I'd love to order commission sometime when I have the budget for it. I think the higher price is even more rewarding because it's really showing the passion that the buyer has. Oh, yes. Yeah. That's why whenever a person puts down more, well, I mean, of course, with every single thing I do, I put as much effort into it as possible. But whenever somebody puts that much money down, you're like, okay, no, it's I think you don't feel like more responsible, but you can feel a bit more pressure. Yeah. I try to, as much as possible, though, ignore the pressure. Just treat everything like it's, you know, equally important, equally, yeah, but difficult to explain. Brain's not really working right now. But yeah, whenever I sit down with a 300-400 one, I'm going, all right. Well, I think that what I do is I put more time into them. That's what it is. I just put more time into them. And as long as you're enjoying the art, that's more than sufficient for me. You don't have to worry about going out of your way to buying something. But if you ever do, I'd be more than happy to draw for you. Where am I at here? I might have to call it a night here soon. My eyes start crossing and it becomes more difficult to focus on things, and I gotta, you know, call it a night. That way I don't completely screw up my painting. Well, the thing is, I don't believe in the idea that you can screw up your painting. I believe there's always a way to save it. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it night there. The US of A, thank you so much for all the comments and questions and everything. And if for everybody else out there, I'm go ahead and call it a night. Appreciate you all stopping by and checking out the show. And I'll try to stream again. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna work on this again tomorrow and another one. So be on the lookout for another stream either tomorrow night. I'll work on it again tomorrow night. My time here in Japan. It's 11:23 here right now. So I'll probably start around the same time, 10ish tomorrow, and work for about another hour and a half or so, hour and a half, 2 hours, and definitely have this one finished and maybe starting on another one. But thanks again, everybody, and have a good night. Take care.